Children suffer at the hands of adults. They are beaten, kicked, and burned with cigarettes. They are thrown against walls. They have their heads held underwater of toilet bowls, scalded by hot water, and sexually molested. Children are abused every day, and their lives are forever changed. And those changes are never good and never benefit anyone in any way. Today we will discuss the three types of child abuse. The first one is physical abuse, the second, sexual abuse, and finally, emotional abuse. Much of the information I'm going to share with you today came from the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the American Psychological Association, and Understanding Child Abuse, written by Cynthia Tower. Let's begin by answering the question, what is physical abuse? Physical abuse is the non-accidental infliction of physical injury to a child. The abuser is a family member or more likely to be male. It involves the parent lashing out at the child or losing control, according to Cynthia Tower, who wrote Understanding Child Abuse and Neglect. Signs of physical abuse are unexplained, suspicious, cuts, bruises, fractures, internal injuries, and, in most cases, death. The Children's Bureau of the United States Department of Health and Human Services received over 60,000 reports of child abuse. 2/3 were victims of abuse or neglect, but only 28% were cases of physical abuse. In the case of Riley Ann Sawyer, also known as Baby Grace, died after hours of being beaten, smothered, and her head held underwater. The mother then told detectives that she and her boyfriend had purchased a box at a nearby Walmart, stuffed her body inside, and kept it in the shed at their home until 1 or 2 months until they tossed it in the Galveston Bay. This is a prime example of physical abuse. Let's move along and discuss sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is any activity with a child before the age of legal consent that is for sexual gratification of an adult or significant other. In the 2001 article, Understanding Sexual Child Abuse by the American Psychological Association states, and I quote, "Sexual abuse includes sexual touching, penetration, and persuading a child to expose his or her sexual organs and pornography," unquote. The abuser is someone who the child trusts or someone that has authority over the child. Signs of sexual abuse are behavioral, such as the child displaying knowledge or interest in sexual acts inappropriate to his or her age. The child might avoid another person or display aggressive or passive behavior. The second type is physical, which the child having problems standing or sitting. And the last one is caregiving, unusual controlling or protective behavior and limiting the contact with others, such as children and adults. The National Child Abuse and Neglect Data System in 2004 reported that 9.7% of 988,000 children were victims of maltreatment were also sexually abused. Now, we will move on to the third and final form of child abuse, emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is the form of abuse characterized by a person subjecting or exposing another to behavior that is psychologically harmful. It involves the willful infliction of mental or emotional anguish by threat, humiliation, or other verbal and nonverbal conduct. The abuser is a parent, a partner, fellow co-worker, or a school bully. The person also has signs of anger management difficulties, demanding, and are very possessive. Signs of emotional abuse are behavioral, such as the child having excessive shyness, fear and afraid of doing something wrong, and displaying antisocial behavior. The last sign is caregiver sign, where they display unusual, harsh, and critical to the child, shaming the child in front of others, such as children and other adults, and also unconcerned with the children's welfare or performance. An example of emotional child abuse would be a 12-year-old girl went to her father and said, "I feel like crying." She wanted and needed to be comforted. She needed reassurance and wanted to know she would be accepted by her father, even when she wasn't happy or smiling. Her father said uncaringly, "Well, then go cry." When she needed comfort, acceptance, and reassurance, she got rejection. Let's review the highlights. Today we have looked at the 3 types of child abuse. The first one is physical abuse, the second one sexual abuse, and the final one emotional abuse. Everyone can make a difference. One of the most painful effects of child abuse is its tendency to repeat itself. You may be reluctant to interfere in someone's family, but you can make a huge impact on a child's life if you do. The earlier abused children get help, and the greater chance they have to heal from their abuse and not continue the cycle. At this time, I would like to thank you all for coming in and listening to my speech on the 3 types of child abuse. Thank you.